Hey y'all, this is Outdoor Air. I'm Alex, this is Eli and Jax, and today we're going to go over how we can use a tripod to get kids and beginners in the field earlier and accurate on target, making good, clean, ethical shots. Alright guys, so this is our setup that we use for pretty much everything that we hunt. This tripod can be used sitting down, standing up. We've used it for predators, deer, turkey, everything in between, and we've used it with Eli since he was 4 years old. He killed his first deer when he was 4, and Jackson, he just turned 4 this past spring. He's already killed 4 deer with the tripod system. He killed a nice buck the other day, and Eli killed one the same day, both of them using a tripod. And I just want to go over the benefits of using a tripod with a child or a beginner hunter. They are super steady. They allow the tripod to pretty much hold all the weight of the weapon, and all you're doing is just balancing the weapon on the tripod until you get it close to where you want it. And you know, then it can be manipulated a little bit to fine tune exactly where you're aiming. I think a misconception is that you lock that thing down and, you know, right where it is where it's going to stay. I mean, there's still, you know, a decent amount of movement in it. The person on the gun still has to do their part, but it's a solid rest. It allows a child to stand up in a comfortable position and get on target. And really all they have to worry about doing is just fine tuning exactly where they're going to aim and squeezing the trigger. They're not holding the weapon up. It just gives them an advantage to concentrate on just fine-tuning the shot placement and squeezing the trigger. And like I said, I mean, Eli was 4 when he killed his first deer, and Jackson was 3 when he killed his first 3 deer, and had just turned 4 when he killed 2 turkeys this spring off of this same system. So there's multiple different ways of mounting weapons on there. What we have right here on this crossbow is an Arca Swiss plate that is on a pick rail, and this ball head, it's a BH55 ball head from Really Right Stuff. This can accept the Arca Swiss plate, or you can direct mount a Picatinny rail straight to it, which I'll show you in just a minute. You know, I'll show you a couple different weapons that use just the Arca Swiss plate, which we have mounted on this pick rail. It just goes right in the slot, you lock it down, and Eli can show you how to manipulate the tripod, the ball head to move. So show them, loosen the ball head up, and you can move 360 degrees, and whenever you get to where you're close to your point of aim, you can just lock it down. And you know, if the animal or whatever you're shooting at, the target, you know, were to move or you were to get off just a little bit, you just loosen the ball head back up and can adjust your point of aim and lock it back down. Some people will shoot with it loose. If I'm predator hunting, most of the time I'll leave it loose and I'll just shoot, and that way, you know, if multiple coyotes come in, I'm ready for a running shot on, you know, the other ones that come in, or a follow-up shot. A lot of times deer hunting or turkey hunting, you know, we'll go ahead and lock it down so that it's just dead solid and all you're doing is just fine-tuning the crosshair. All right, so this is my 6 Creedmoor custom bolt gun that I had DNA Firearms build for me and Sahara. We both have matching guns that we predator hunt with. And this chassis system has a Arca Swiss rail more or less machined into the bottom of it, which makes it super steady. There's no connection to the gun. Hold that real quick. So the good thing about this ball head, some Arca Swiss plates are made a little bit different than wider or narrower, and it can be adjusted for different widths. So this one mounts directly to the chassis system. A direct mount like this is the most solid, accurate kind of connection. There's no play in between the ball head and the chassis. So, you know, Eli has actually shot steel plates from 500 to 1,032 yards with this exact setup with this ball head. It is super steady and will give you maximum accuracy. It's not sandbag steady, but it's pretty close. It will get you pretty close to rock solid. I mean, as you can see, there's still a little bit of flex and movement in there. And, you know, just that little bit of movement at 100 yards can be a foot or more. But if you get settled in and steady on the gun and you do your part, this setup right here will allow you to be super accurate. Like I said, out to 1,032 yards. He hit a silhouette 3 out of 4 times after we got it dialed in and the dope right for the scope. But this setup right here is by far my favorite, a direct mount. It's even better than putting an Arca Swiss plate on a pick rail because you'll have a little bit of movement in between the pick rail and the Arca Swiss plate. Not much, but this is a little bit more steady. So another way that we utilize to mount a gun to the tripod is a saddle system. This particular one is a Shadow Tech pig saddle. There are tons of them out there. There's probably 5 or 6 that I know of. The pig saddle it's a good one. There's better ones out there. The same company makes one called a hog saddle that's a little bit more solid, but more or less all it does is it has a Arca Swiss rail on the bottom of the saddle, and then here, step back here. You slip the fore end of the gun into the saddle and you can lock it down. Once you tighten it down, there you go. Eli, show them how. Same thing. This one, it sits up higher off the ball head, so it's a little bit more top heavy, and this pig saddle is a little bit heavier than, I believe this one's steel. The hog saddle is a little bit beefier and it's aluminum from what I know, and I could be wrong on that. But this is a great way to mount any firearm that does not have a pick rail or an Arca Swiss plate on it already. Some people will, depending on the makeup of the fore end, can drill and tap screws and put a Arca Swiss plate on the fore end, which is what we actually did with Jackson's 410 shotgun. But this one, I don't know if you can see it. I mean, even without the actual saddle moving, the gun moves in the saddle. There's a rubber pieces that are contacting the gun, so it allows for a little bit of movement, but it's not bad. Probably the least steady way to mount a firearm, but it's still, you know, it's pretty solid. We've shot 500-600 yards off of the pig saddle as well, but this particular saddle, or any saddle for that matter, is a good way to start for someone who has normal shotguns, normal rifles, that doesn't have any of the Arca Swiss plates or pick rails or anything else. You can mount just about any weapon, any rifle or shotgun to this. So it's versatile. It'll let you, mount most of your guns to it without having to put in a ton of money into different mounts and stocks and everything else. This is really what I would suggest for most people starting out, just because it is the most versatile and will get you in the game with most of your weapons. All right, so this is the Stevens 410 that I was telling you about, this Jackson's gun that he uses for turkey hunting. I have a Arca Swiss plate mounted directly to the fore end. I drilled and tapped the fore end, put a little piece of metal in there to sure it up a little bit, and mounted the Arca Swiss plate to it. This gun has quite a bit of modification to it actually. I had to cut the stock off 3 or 4 inches, and I added a limb saber butt pad to it, and then added a red dot. But like I said, this one has the Arca Swiss plate on the fore end, and what I like to do with younger hunters especially is to set the ball head tension to where it'll hold the firearm or the crossbow, whatever it is, It'll hold it by itself, but it still allows whoever's shooting it to move it around, get it on target. But as soon as they get where they want, they can let go, or they don't have to hold the weapon up. It more or less holds it there for them to where it's really solid. All they got to do is fine tune, you know, exactly where they're aiming, which you can see. I mean, even lockdown, I mean, it's still a decent amount of movement, but they can fine tune their point of aim, and all they have to do is worry about just shooting the gun. They don't have to worry about holding the firearm up. But Jax, why don't you show them how you can move it around, get on target, get up there on your shoulder, get up here on your shoulder. Yep. And just act like that doorknob's a turkey head. Yep. And get it right there, get it exactly where you want, and all you got to do is squeeze the trigger, right?
Yep.
Like you just saw. I mean, there's still, you know, there's still going to be a little bit of movement, but that's where practice with them comes in, and really coaching them, explaining to them, you know, not to shoot unless they are perfectly on target and perfectly solid. If you want to take a look at his deer hunting video from the other day, we have it on our YouTube channel. The deer was at 219 yards when he shot it, but the deer was out in the field for, felt like an hour trying to get him on, but it was probably 4 or 5 minutes, and he never took the shot until he was perfectly on exactly where he was supposed to be, perfectly solid, and he squeezed the trigger and absolutely smoked the deer 219 yards. That's where practice with them, with this whole system, and then, you know, for hours we would sit and just scroll through pictures on my phone, and I'd tell him to point exactly where he would aim at a deer, or, you know, I did it with turkeys as well. But that way he doesn't have to guess where to aim. He knows exactly where to aim. He knows the system, how to get on target, and, you know, he's set up for the most chance of success. So, all right, so this is the last way that we mount firearms on there. This is a Raven crossbow with a pick rail machined to the bottom of it. This ball head has the capability of locking onto a pick rail as well. You just slip the pick rail down into there, lock the ball head down, and you can manipulate the crossbow whichever way you want to go. Sometimes, depends on where we're hunting. If we're hunting uneven ground, I'll go ahead and stick a Arca Swiss rail or plate on here, because as you can see, there's not a whole lot of range of motion down on this. So just the Arca Swiss plate will lift the crossbow up off the plate a little, off the ball head a little bit, so that you can bring the front of the crossbow up. But that's pretty much all the ways that we mount our weapons, and it's been a very good system set up for us. Like I said, the main thing with any new hunter, and most of y'all probably know this, is, you know, getting them tons of practice. We shoot 22s all the time. When Eli was little, we have a little 3 or 4 inch steel plate that we put at 100 yards, and we would shoot it all day long, or he would. With his 22, we'd sight the 22 in at 100 yards, and we would shoot for hours. And, you know, at 100 yards shooting something that small, you're going to get good, or else you're not going to hit the plate very often. He would hit it 20 out of 21 times, you know, and, you know, he's made some really good shots. He doesn't miss very much, but this is what I deal with in the blind. It's, you know, little picking here, picking there, never a dull moment. But if y'all have any questions, just feel free to reach out to us. There's a ton of different tripods, ball heads, saddles, everything, depending on what price range you're in, and, you know, exactly what you're looking for. You know, the options are limitless, honestly. And you know, this setup is not cheap. The tripod itself is, it's been a while since I bought it, $500. The ball head is around that new, which I bought the ball head off of eBay used. but there are a lot cheaper options out there. In my experience though, especially the tripods and ball head, you get what you pay for. You know, if you're buying a $100 tripod, it's going to be flimsier and it's not going to hold as steady. And you know, the more money you spend, normally you're going to get a more solid, steady tripod to shoot off of. And with as much money as we already spend in all of our gear, licenses, ammo, everything else, you know, a few $100 extra for a really robust, sturdy setup is well worth it, because when it comes down to the moment of truth, you know, you want the most steady tripod to shoot off of. But if you don't have that kind of money, you can definitely use cheaper ones. You know, this is carbon fiber. They're more expensive than the aluminum ones, which is what I started out with. I had a Giotto's tripod that was a couple $100, and you know, going from that to this is a big difference. But I also killed a ton of things, coyotes mainly, off of that tripod. But this just allows you to be a little bit more steady and, you know, shoot further ranges more confidently as well. But like I said, if y'all have any questions, feel free to reach out. I'll help you any way I can. You know, I've been taking my boys hunting since, I mean, they were 1 year and 3/4 old, and they've been actually hunting since they were 3 and 4 years old. And I have gotten to the point where I don't even care about shooting anymore. I get more out of watching them do it. And I'm telling you, if you have younger kids, take them, practice with them. You will feel the feeling of killing a Boone and Crockett buck when they shoot at their first deer with a doe or a spike, which Eli's with a spike. And I'm telling you, I was on cloud 9, he was too, and there's just nothing like it. And I just encourage you to do that. But and in the meantime, if you want to practice on something else, you know, we squirrel hunt with a 22 that's mounted on this system, and you know, you can extend the tripod up to where, you know, they're standing up on the tripod, you know, giving them the right angle. We'll adjust the legs for each shot. I mean, that's the one good thing about a squirrel. You get them up in the tree, you know, sitting on the side of the tree. A lot of times you've got a while to get them in position, get the tripod right, and get them on target, which is great practice. And you know, I always told them to shoot them in the head, just trying to get them to fine tune where they're aiming. And you know, they both kill tons and tons of squirrels, and that's really where I think that they have graduated shooting deer and turkeys, because they have the confidence, they know what they're doing, you know, just from shooting so many squirrels, which is low stress, plenty of target and shot opportunities, and you know, get some used to the system and confident with what they're doing. But that's about it, guys. Like I said, shoot me any questions you have. I'd be happy to help. And you know, good luck in the future. Get your kids out there, enjoy spending time in the outdoors with them.